What is going down, guys? My name is TetraNinja and I welcome you to my very first ever map breakdown video, and this is the first video in a series of videos that I plan to do that's going to be solely dedicated to pure gameplay and gameplay talk that will help you guys get better scores and hopefully become more consistent, because all Call of Duty games have a large learning curve, so we all have to begin somewhere. So hopefully these videos will help you guys out. So obviously by the title, we're playing a game of team deathmatch on the map Grid. And Grid is another one of those patented snowy Treyarch maps divided by two main buildings. The bottom left hand corner building is the office building, just because it has an office on the second floor, and the large building opposite to that is what I call the balcony building, just because, surprise surprise, it has a balcony. And on the other side of the map there's the two hangars as well as the tarmac, and at the very bottom of the screen right now, as we do a quick flyby, we are passing the generators. So those are just some quick callouts that you can learn to help you navigate yourself as well as your team throughout this entire map. So the next part of the video is providing you guys information on where do you want to go, where do you want to stay, places that you want to avoid, where you want to use specific guns, as well as general respawn points. So the areas highlighted in red, which are the two main buildings that I showed you guys earlier, are two buildings that I tend to avoid, just especially if you're trying to use high-end kill streaks such as the 8, 9, 11 combo. And the main reason for this is because if you stay in an area too long, most likely you'll get people rushing you for revenge kills, and eventually you'll get sandwiched between two players, and if you're using high-end kill streaks, that will make or break your game. So if you are planning to stay in these red areas, then I tend to stick with submachine guns just because they're more geared towards close quarters combat. Especially if you're using assault rifle such as the M16, do not stay in these areas or completely avoid them altogether, just because even though the M16 is a great weapon for medium to long distances, up close, especially if you have to two burst, it becomes one of the slowest killing weapons in the game. So the areas highlighted right here are the main areas that you want to be using your assault rifles. If you're in the building, stick with your SMGs, and if you're trying to be fancy, your shotguns. So that's enough talk about weapon selection. Let's move on to respawn points. And the areas highlighted in green right here are the minor respawn points that you kind of just want to keep at the back of your head. You have two located next to the generators, as well as one located at the base of the propane tank, which has a ladder, and you can climb up it and jump into the office building with. But like I said, these respawn points are minor, and what you really want to focus on are the major ones, which are these green areas with the checkered texture. And these areas are the ones that you really want to focus upon, especially if you have a chopper gunner up in the air. But just keep in mind the one located in the lower left hand corner next to and between the two hangars is kind of enclosed, so you will have a little bit more difficulty picking off people in your chopper gunners or your gunship. But if you're lucky enough and they'll be constantly respawning in the field, then you'll just have a hell of a time in your chopper gunners, because there's really no cover people can stay behind and shoot you down from. So the final part of this video is where exactly do you want to position yourself so you can minimize the amount of times that you die, get a lot of kills to build up your kill streaks, and in general just be a nuisance to the enemy. And the answer is highlighted with this little flying ninja. If you stay in this area, I find, and kind of recycle around it and just defend this area, you'll get people running from the field, as well as people running from the checkered main point in the lower left hand corner between the two hangars, as well as people respawning at the propane tank. And like I said, just stay within these areas. People will come towards you, and this will be the best place to build up all those large kill streaks while avoiding those red areas in the buildings. So like I said, this is the best spot and most consistent spot I find to position myself on this map. Alright, let's stop talking about it and move into some actual gameplay. So obviously we are playing a TDM on the map Grid. Otherwise, this entire video wouldn't have made any sense at all. And I am using an assault rifle. And the reason you want to use an assault rifle if you do plan on patrolling this whole field area is because, unlike in Modern Warfare 2 and your UMP-45s, the submachine guns actually have a lot of damage drop at long distances. So if you do plan to cover long distances, then you obviously want to go with an assault rifle. And I'm kind of going against what I told you guys at the very beginning of this video and going into this little office area. What I'm doing is just kind of getting a feel for the other team, do a quick scour of any people running towards the middle area, plant this claymore, get a quick kill with it because there's the main respawn points on the other side of it, and then I GTFO, I get the hell out of there just because I'm using an M16. Even though, like I said, it's good at medium to long distances, if you have to use more than one burst, it becomes one of the slower killing weapons in the game. But if you do plan to stay on those office areas and you still want to use an assault rifle, then obviously go with a faster firing one such as the M16 or the AUG. And as you can see there, I make the decision not to go in there because I'm going to get outgunned every single time, most likely by a submachine gun such as the MP5K or the AK-74U. And once again, I'm kind of just cycling back towards my little safe zone, as you would call it, and just making sure and patrolling the areas of people coming from the propane tank and the hangars, as well as coming from the field. And in some cases, although I don't find it too often, people will kind of cut in between the office buildings. But like I said, it really doesn't happen a lot. People who tend to run towards the office buildings kind of just stay in there and they kind of pitch a tent. I rarely find that people actually run through them and then come out through the other side. And my perks for this game, first off, in the first slot is the Shame perk, which is Ghost. And the reason why, before you flame me, I usually run hardline on all my TDM classes, but in the previous game before this one, me and my buddy Zach joined late, the only other party member I have in my team right now, and the other team actually beat us because we joined late, and they had a 3,000 point lead on the other team, and they're constantly calling UAVs and counter UAVs, and they were just giving us a hard time in general. So the best way to counter that is just Ghost, and there's really no shame in it if the other team is all using UAV, in my opinion. So yeah, and my other two perks are Sleight of Hand Pro and Ninja Pro. Pretty self-explanatory. Ghost was not Pro at this time. I think I actually bought it. I had just bought it, so yeah. And so as you can see from right here, I got my Blackbird up in the air, and it kind of highlights at this point how often people respawn in this corner next to the field. And I get my dogs, and I need now to find a safe spot on the map. And the safest spot on the map to call both in is right here, highlighted in this little red zone. This little canal thing, or this little manhole cover, I find is the best spot on this map to call in a chopper gunner and not die while you're in it. And the reason I want to choose this spot, first off, like I said, I have never died calling a chopper gunner in this spot, as well as when you're calling in your gunner, you want to position your player in a spot that's not in a respawn point that you want to be shooting in. So like I told you guys at the very beginning of the game, that field is the money area where lots of people are constantly respawning. So if you place your character there, then you cut it off, and people will no longer be respawning there, and you're kind of cheating yourself out of free kills with your gunner. And this area sequence right here kind of highlights as well the other main respawn point that I told you guys, the little checkered area between the two hangars. And like I said, at longer distances, especially if your gunner is on the other side of the map, you will have a little bit more difficulty picking off those people, and that is usually the spot I get killed or my gunners get shot down from Strelas with, from people respawning in those areas right there. So the chopper gun ends right there. Did some work with it as well. My dogs did a lot of work. So the only point left in this game is to decide if I wanted to go for a flawless game or kind of just go balls out right into a situation where I can die and reset all my kill streaks. And at this point I was kind of on like a gaming high, you know, when you get like a whole bunch of kills, like yeah, let's go in there and do it again. But if you look at the score, this was actually the bad move running into this building, because most likely even if I could die in time, I probably at this point could not reset all my kill streak just because they were so high. So at this point, if you're running a flawless game, I suggest just playing it safe. And as you can see right here, after I slow-mo this portion, I actually almost get owned by a nice tomahawk. So that would have been karma right there for you. And as you can also see, I'm also running low on a lot of ammo because I don't run secondaries at all, because I usually just run Strelas so there's really no point in running Ghost if you have Australis. But like I said, I made this class really quickly, and you're gonna actually see a funny point right here where I run out of ammo completely in a very bad spot, and then I automatically switch to my Strelas. And if you didn't know, Strelas actually slow you down when you run, so I'm kind of just like spazzing out at this point, freaking out. I was like, no. But yeah, anyways, I do survive, and the final score of this game will be 32-0. So yeah, if you found this video to be informative, I hope you liked it. All I ask is that you just give it a quick rating. It does help me out a lot, and as you can see, it takes a little bit more effort than your standard Black Ops video. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for episode 2 of Map Breakdown. Thank you for Mashirin for letting me post, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
What up folks, Tape here, and to the face,